everybody. Hey, welcome to the shop here at Clackamas Community College. Today we're going to be talking about tires. And right now I'm in the section of our main shop that has the Hunter Revolution tire changer that you can see right there, the Hoffman tire changer, and also the Hunter Road Force balancer. So there's lots we can talk about as far as the tire is concerned, the belt package and all the stuff, the plies on the inside of the tire, but I just want to talk briefly about all these numbers and letters that are on the outside of the tire and what do they mean actually. So let's start with the size of the tire. That'd be a good place to start, right? So right here we have 245, 35, ZR19. The 245 right there represents the width of the tire in millimeters, okay? The 35 right here represents the aspect ratio of the sidewall to the width of the tire. So in other words, this tire's sidewall is 35% of the width of the tire here, or 35% of the 245 millimeters. ZR is a speed rating, R is for a radial construction of the tire, and 19 is the wheel size. So the wheel that goes in here, that's what it would be, it's 19 inches. They also have it designated here in smaller numbers and letters. And going back to the Z on the speed rating, they came up with that in Germany where they have the Autobahn and they have roads over there you can go as fast as you want to go. So they needed to make tires that could reach up to certain speeds, and there are different letters that can correlate with different miles an hour that the tire is capable of going at. Well, they got up to Z and they figured, you know, that's 149 miles an hour. This tire would be safe to go 149 miles an hour. Z is the last letter in the alphabet. Cars will probably not go any faster than that, so that's where they stopped. Unfortunately, there's cars go faster than that now, so they had to go back to the drawing board and they made a Y inside these parentheses here, and the Y actually represents a speed of 186 miles an hour. So I don't make up the rules here. That's just what they did. The 93 here represents the load that the tire can sustain, 1,433 pounds, when the tire is maxed out at 50 PSI. They have different load ranges and different numbers here, and you can find out the load range on your tire by just looking for the smallest little numbers on the tire, and it says LB on there, so that's your load range. Let's take a look also at another important designation on the tire, and that would be the DOT code, Department of Transportation. These numbers and letters here represent the plant that the tire was made at. And then what's really cool is they have the week and the year that the tire was made. That's a good thing to know. This one is 0616, so this would be the 6th week of 2016. If you were to go buy a set of 4 tires and one of the tires was 4 or 5 years old already, you might want to roll that tire back and tell them to get you a little bit fresher one. Tires will start to deteriorate over time just sitting around, so you want to I just want to make sure you get something within a year of purchase. You know, that's fair. So above that, we have tread wear, traction, and temperature. Tread wear on this one's 240, and that represents this tire would last almost 2.5 times longer than a tread wear rating of a 100. And if the tread wear on here was 500, that means this tire would theoretically last 5 times longer than a tire with a 100 designation. Traction is AA. They get a coefficient of drag for this tire being dragged over concrete and asphalt while it's wet, and then they get a number off of that. That's a little open to interpretation as far as I'm concerned. And then the temperature is A. That's a good rating. That means that this tire is able to dissipate the heat really, really good. So what does that mean? Take it with a grain of salt. Use it as a guide. If you're going to go get a Michelin tire and they have 3 different Michelin tires that could fit your vehicle, they all might have different designations here, and you could use that as a guide. But don't use the numbers from Michelin to go against Goodyear or Firestone, for example, because each company can kind of market their own numbers how they want to do it. So that's what that's about. You can see here, this tire says outside right here. That means that this tire, this portion of the tire needs to be mounted on the outside of the wheel. This is going to face towards the outside. Okay? That's because this tread design here is what they call asymmetrical tread design. If you look closely, you can see that this half of the tread is a little different than this half of the tread. That's asymmetrical. We can take a look at a symmetrical tread design, and as you can see, the tread basically mirrors the right side and the left side. They have a V tire where the tread is in a shape of a V. That helps get the water out from underneath the tire while you're cruising down the freeway quite nicely. They also have an asymmetrical tire, as you can see, that's also a V tire. So they kind of combined the two. One other photo I wanted to show you here was of a Goodyear tire. It was designed back in the 80s, and it's a V tire, but they actually called it a gator back because it looked like an alligator's back. So there's a bit of trivia for you today. There's no charge for that. So there you go. Let's talk about tire pressure. Okay, most people want to know how much pressure should I put in my tire. So what do? They look on the side of the tire. I don't blame them. But the pressure that you find on the side of the tire, like this one right here, this one says maximum inflation pressure 50 psi. That's the maximum amount you'd want to put in this tire. It would make this vehicle pretty bouncy going down the road with that kind of air pressure in the tire. But if you load the vehicle down with a lot of weight, and you feel like you've kind of overloaded your vehicle, you might want to go ahead and pump the tire pressure up to 50 psi on this particular tire. The proper inflation for your vehicle is inside the driver's door. On the door jamb there'll be a sticker there, and it'll tell you the proper pressure to put your tires at when they're cold. We don't want our tire pressures to get too low. Two things can happen. One, they run really, really hot, and they can actually blow out sidewalls. If they get down 10, 15 pounds of air going down the freeway, they get extremely hot in the sidewall area, and that can damage the internal portion of the tire. And two, when you're running 3, 4, 5, or 6 pounds lower on air pressure than you should, that causes excessive rolling resistance for the vehicle. The engine's going to have to work that much harder to propel the vehicle down the road. It's going to cost you some fuel economy there. Just think about when we've ridden a bicycle before with tires that were really low, and you know how much harder it is to get moving down the road, and how much easier it is when it's got the proper tire pressure in there. Same thing with the car tire. So let's check our tire pressures every 2 weeks, and you'll get yourself a little better fuel economy, and the car will handle well as well. I've opened up the door on this Nissan Rogue, and this is very typical of what you'll find when you open up your car door. You should have a sticker somewhere in this area. It could be down here, over here, but this is very typical. And this will have all of your tire information on it that you need. This particular vehicle, the Nissan here, there's your tire size, 225/60/18s on the front and the back. And it even has the tire pressure here for us, front and back, 33 psi, 33 psi, and 60 psi for the spare tire. They're indicating that they want this tire pressure set when the tires are cold. If the tire is hot and the tire showed 37, 38 psi, you may deflate that down to 33 and think you're good to go, but by the time morning rolls around and the tire is cold, you may be at around 24, 25, 26 psi. So we want to set all of our pressures when the tire is cold, and if they go up a couple of pounds when they get hot, that's totally fine. Here's a way that's been around for a while to see if you need a tire replacement. You put a penny in the tread, and if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, then they say that's 2/32 of an inch and the tire needs to be replaced. Here's another way to see if you need to change your tires. The tire manufacturers have put in tread wear bar indicators throughout the tire. They're not painted yellow. I just painted them yellow so we could see them today. And they're spaced throughout the tire. There's some right here, as you can see. And there's another set right there. These tread wear bar indicators are 2/32 above the level of the bald spot of the tire that you can see there. To verify that, I've got a tread depth gauge and I can measure these. And sure enough, it shows that it's 2/32 of an inch above the bald spot of the tire, which coincidentally also is the depth from the top of Lincoln's head to the top of the coin. If I go ahead and measure the actual tread depth of this particular tire, just for the fun of it, I can see that I have about 7/30 seconds remaining of tread depth on the tire, 6 to 7/30 seconds remaining. So when the tread of this tire gets level with the surface of these two 30-second wear bar indicators, I know the tire is deemed it to be worn out and I should replace it. You might want to think about getting them replaced somewhere in the area of 2 to 3 or 4 30 seconds of tread depth remaining. I wanted to show you what a sidewall break looks like in a tire, and it can happen with any tire, but it happens a lot more with tires with really short sidewalls like this, real short aspect ratios. What happens is they'll hit a curb or a pothole and damage the sidewall. Let me demonstrate here for you. Here's a tire, got it on a wheel, okay? We'll pretend that this is our curb that we're gonna go up against, all right? So you just drive along, you're going up. Whoa! Son of a Seabiscuit eater, that's gonna leave a mark. Well, I think that worked out pretty good. I've been cleared to come back. I passed the, what do they call it? I passed the concussion protocol. Yeah, I passed that. Doc says I got a little internal bleeding, but I'll have a little gauze for supper and should be just fine. Let's take a replay of that tire hitting the curb here and see what happened to the sidewall area. So take a look at this tire as it approaches the curb and hits the curb. See how it pinches right there? You have all the weight of the vehicle behind this tire. It'll break that sidewall down right there. And as you will see in the next slide, the sidewall now has a bubble on it. I circled it in yellow there. And if you look just below the yellow, you'll see where I circled in red. Actually, part of the tire rolled over the wheel on this aluminum wheel, and it left a little bit of a rubber mark on the wheel. That is proof that that tire went up against a pothole or a curb, broke the sidewall. Now the sidewall has a big air bubble in the side of it and should be replaced. The next slide shows a tire with an indentation where there's an indentation in the sidewall of the tire. That is where the splices of the tire were put together at the factory, and that is not a problem. That, you can see it's where it's circled in yellow there. That is actually the strongest part of the sidewall. It's nice and stiff there, so it's not bulging out when the tire is filled with air. So that is not a problem. You'll find that from 1 degree to another on almost every tire that you look at. Okay, we're going to wrap this up by checking the tire pressure. Remember, our tire pressure specifications are on the door jamb. So open up the door, take a look for the tire placard there, and see what the tire specifications are for your vehicle. Get yourself a tire gauge like this, or maybe a little fancier one like this if you like a little digital readout. There's lots of different tire gauges out there. And this is what it should sound like when you're checking the tire pressure. Okay, we want to get it squarely onto the valve stem and then remove it. Kind of a psh, psh, like that, okay? Just like that. Now we can get our reading right here. If it goes and sounds like this, you're not going to get an accurate reading. So make sure you get it on there nice and square. Same thing with the digital one here. Kind of a, okay? Then you can get your digital readout right there. All right? Make sure we check those every couple of weeks. And if you're looking for a career in the automotive field, we can help you out here at Clackamas Community College. Check out what we have to offer at clackamas.edu. I also invite you to visit us at our Oregon City campus, and we'll give you a tour of our newly remodeled shop. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got the latest and greatest modern equipment here, and we also enjoy what we do. So come on out, check us out. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.